Welcome to our channel, where we uncover shocking mysteries, never-before-told stories, and hidden secrets about Hollywood legends. Gene Hackman, an iconic actor with a life full of intrigue. But what the FBI recently discovered in his mansion will leave you stunned. This revelation could change everything we thought we knew about him. What secrets have been hidden? What truth is waiting to be revealed? Stay tuned as we dive deep into the untold stories of Gene Hackman and other legendary stars. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our exclusive and hottest videos.
Kind of okay.
That we had a ball doing that.
From The Firm and Unforgiven to Crimson Tide and Enemy of the State, Gene was a film legend who also bonded with his co-stars. Take one of his first friends in the business, fellow struggling actor and roommate Dustin Hoffman.
We both were unemployed for 10 years, first 10 years.
The isolated lifestyle and mysterious disappearance of Gene Hackman and his wife. Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were always known for their private and reclusive lifestyle. Despite being a Hollywood legend, Hackman chose not to embrace the glitz and glamour of Los Angeles. Instead, he and his wife retreated to a secluded mansion in Santa Fe, where they could live a quiet life, far from public scrutiny. The couple rarely made media appearances or attended major events, making their lives even more mysterious to those around them. But it was precisely this isolation that made their two-week disappearance before the case was discovered all the more baffling. During that time, no one knew where Hackman and his wife had gone or what they had been doing. Their few close friends reported that they had not received any calls from the couple. Neighbors in the gated community hadn't seen them outside, but that wasn't particularly unusual, as Hackman was known to be extremely private. However, as the silence dragged on, suspicions grew. And when the truth finally came to light, it turned into a nightmare. The couple's home was in an upscale neighborhood where privacy was paramount. The property had tight security, the main gate was always locked, and most residents respected each other's personal space. Because of this, their absence went unnoticed. Even the household staff only visited on scheduled days, and since they had received no instructions from Hackman, they had no reason to be alarmed. As a result, 2 weeks passed before anyone realized something was wrong, until a close friend decided to knock on the mansion's door and stumbled upon a chilling scene. When authorities arrived at the scene, they immediately recognized that this was no ordinary death. The front door was wide open, household items were scattered around, and there were signs of a struggle. The biggest question was, if Hackman and his wife had been missing for 2 weeks, what had actually happened during that time? Had they been taken elsewhere before being killed? Or had someone managed to infiltrate the mansion without anyone noticing? Theories began to swirl, but the answers remained an eerie mystery. Even more disturbingly, security footage from the mansion's surveillance system showed no trace of Hackman or his wife during those 2 weeks. The camera at the main gate recorded no one entering or leaving. How could a couple simply vanish from their own home without a single clue? Had some unseen force orchestrated their disappearance? These unsettling details only deepened the complexity of the case. Those who knew Hackman described him as extremely cautious. He was not someone who trusted easily, and he never allowed anyone into his world without a compelling reason. Yet, it seemed that this time, his caution had not been enough to protect him and his wife from an unspeakable tragedy. While no official conclusions had been drawn, the evidence at the scene strongly suggested that this was a targeted crime. Someone had been watching them for a long time and knew exactly how to get to them without raising suspicion. With so many unanswered questions, the case of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa became one of the most shocking mysteries in recent memory. What really happened during those 2 weeks? Who was behind it all? This story has not only left Hackman's fans in shock, but has also captured the attention of the entire world. Will the truth ever be revealed, or will it remain buried in darkness forever? Share your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for further developments.
That's the sort of reason why we do this, and we have this really growing field. I got into it during my training to become a pathologist. I was involved in a couple of cases where we were working up, potential starvation cases, different crimes against animals, and I really saw that there was a very limited amount of
Chilling discovery at Gene Hackman's mansion. Mysterious death shocks. The public Santa Fe. On a cold morning, a maintenance worker was dispatched to check the heating system of Gene Hackman's $3.3 million mansion. He was a Hollywood legend, but had lived a reclusive life for many years with his wife, Betsy Arakawa. No one could have anticipated that this simple visit would lead to a horrific discovery. As he approached the estate, the maintenance worker felt something was off. The gate was unlocked, and the front door stood wide open. An inexplicable carelessness for someone known for a private lifestyle like Hackman. Stepping inside, he was enveloped by a chilling silence that permeated the expansive space. There were no signs of life, no sounds, no greetings, just an unsettling feeling lurking in every breath. As he entered the living room, the maintenance worker was struck dumb. Gene Hackman lay motionless on the floor, his face devoid of expression. A wooden cane lay next to him, along with a pair of sunglasses that had fallen askew. But the most disturbing detail was the cold emanating from his body, indicating that death had occurred hours earlier. However, the nightmare didn't stop there. As he moved into the bathroom near the fireplace, he discovered Betsy Arakawa, Hackman's wife, slumped motionless against the bathtub. Her eyes were wide open and lifeless. Next to her was an opened bottle of wine and a shattered glass on the floor. The surrounding space was eerily silent, with only the flickering firelight dancing against the marble walls. At the foot of the bed, their pet dog lay dead, its small body curled up as if it were sleeping. The police were immediately called to the scene. Initially, they suspected it could be an accident or a double suicide, but the signs around the scene raised too many questions. On the floor, pills were scattered, leading from the living room to the bathroom. Toxicology reports indicated they were powerful sedatives, typically prescribed for severe insomnia or anxiety disorders. Yet the most peculiar detail was that the surveillance cameras surrounding the mansion had been disabled before the deaths occurred. There were no recordings capturing what happened on that fateful night. Had someone deliberately erased the evidence? News of Gene Hackman's death sent shockwaves through the public. A plethora of theories emerged, but none could fully explain all the bizarre details at the scene. Some believed Hackman and his wife had been poisoned, but if so, who had the motive? Another theory revolved around Hackman's mysterious collection of antiques. For years, he had been fascinated by artifacts from ancient civilizations. Rumors circulated that one of his pieces was a cursed statue. Could a supernatural force have claimed their lives? Others suspected it was a targeted assassination, potentially linked to financial secrets Hackman had tried to keep hidden for years. One detail that added to the mystery was the couple's puzzling absence for nearly 2 weeks before they were discovered. Normally, despite their reclusive lifestyle, they maintained contact with a few family members and friends. However, for the entire 14 days leading up to the discovery of their deaths, no one had seen or heard from them. There were no activities at the mansion, no signs of phone calls or messages. What really happened during that time? In Hackman's study, police found a personal journal. One of the last lines he wrote read, No one can escape their fate. Life is a series of mysteries that we can never fully understand. What did this message mean? Had he foreseen his own death? Or was it a warning he wanted to leave behind? With so many unanswered questions, the FBI officially got involved. They ruled out no possibilities, from a targeted murder to a mysterious suicide, to the involvement of some unseen force behind it all. Investigators are piecing together each fragment of this puzzling narrative. But the deeper they dig, the more strange details they uncover, making this case one of the biggest mysteries in Hollywood history. What really happened to Gene Hackman and his wife? Was it an accident? An assassination? Or is there a force hiding the truth? The answers remain buried in darkness. What do you think about this mysterious case? Is there a force at play behind the scenes? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's unravel this shocking truth together.
Out if it was even safe for our officers to go in and process the scene and execute the warrant. They stated that it was safe. I don't have the details of exactly what they located or what they didn't locate. It was determined that it was safe. We had been going in and out of the house. I don't know if that affects, if there was a concentration of any gas, including...
The shocking discovery at Gene Hackman's mansion. Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found in their luxurious $3.3 million mansion in Santa Fe, a place known for its enchanting beauty and tranquility. However, that peace was quickly shattered when news of their deaths broke. Initially, authorities believed it was nothing more than a tragic accident, but strange details at the scene soon complicated everything. These mysterious clues turned the case into a shocking investigation, capturing public and media attention. When investigators arrived at the scene, they were immediately struck by the chaos. Stains from medication and scattered objects on the floor suggested a struggle had taken place before death occurred. The mansion's front door stood wide open, with the wind sweeping through the space, carrying eerie sounds that added to the unsettling atmosphere. Investigators quickly realized this was no mere accident. Something far more sinister was at play. Adding to the mystery, a mummified corpse was discovered in a locked room within the mansion. Investigators were at a loss to explain how a mummy had ended up in such an upscale home. This bizarre discovery raised a flood of questions about Hackman's connection to the preserved body. Who had brought it there? Did it have any link to Gene and Betsy's deaths? These questions only deepened the complexity of the case. As undeniable signs of foul play emerged, the FBI stepped in. They began gathering evidence and interviewing those closest to the couple. Early findings suggested that Hackman might have been entangled in some illicit activities in the past, fueling further speculation. Neighbors reported hearing strange noises coming from the mansion and witnessing unusual visitors on multiple occasions. This only intensified the atmosphere of suspicion and unease. Meanwhile, the media ran rampant with reports on the case, transforming Gene Hackman from a Hollywood star into the center of a gripping criminal investigation. Theories ranged from assassination to undisclosed family disputes, heightening public intrigue. Fans and onlookers alike were captivated by the unfolding mystery, eager for answers. The investigation stretched on for months, with each new lead bringing fresh surprises and unanswered questions. Hackman's family and friends were drawn into the whirlwind of secrets, forced to confront a past they had never fully understood. Tension mounted as new revelations surfaced, leaving everyone wondering whether the truth would ever come to light, or remain forever buried in darkness. Ultimately, the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were not just personal tragedies, but the beginning of an extraordinary mystery layered with secrets waiting to be unraveled. Fans and the public followed each development with anticipation, as the pieces of this enigmatic puzzle slowly came together. Was this truly an accident, or was there a deeper conspiracy at play? The answers remained just out of reach, but one thing was certain. This story would never be forgotten.
Arakawa sent shockwaves through both the entertainment industry and Santa Fe. Hackman, despite having retired in 2004, remained a beloved figure in Hollywood, respected for his incredible range and dedication. His performances in films like The French Connection and Unforgiven, both of which earned him Academy Awards, had cemented his legacy. Arakawa, though less publicly known, was respected as a talented classical pianist. The couple.
The mysterious death of Betsy Arakawa. The fateful pills? When police entered the bathroom of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's mansion, they were met with a strange sight. On the counter, an open pill bottle lay on its side, with pills scattered across the marble surface. Right next to it sat a glass of water, still containing a small amount of liquid, as if someone had just taken one last pill before slipping away from life. This detail immediately raised suspicions. Could the pills have played a direct role in Betsy Arakawa's death? Investigators quickly collected every loose pill from the counter to analyze their composition. If these were medications Betsy normally took, could she have accidentally overdosed? Or had someone swapped out her pills, replacing them with a colorless, odorless poison? In the world of crime, poisonings are far from uncommon. If there was indeed a hidden hand behind Betsy's death, the perpetrator must have been highly sophisticated. Another strange detail caught the investigators' attention. The pill bottle was not listed in any of Betsy's prescribed medications. This raised a chilling question. Who brought these pills into the mansion? And how? There were no signs of forced entry, no evidence that an outsider had entered the home. This led detectives to a disturbing theory. Had Betsy received the bottle from someone she trusted? If so, who was that person? More questions emerged when the initial forensic report found no traces of common poisons like cyanide or arsenic in Betsy's bloodstream. If the pills were involved in her death, they must have contained an extremely rare or difficult-to-detect substance. Experts were now investigating drugs that could cause rapid unconsciousness without leaving clear traces, something similar to those used in highly sophisticated assassinations. As police followed the trail of the mysterious pill bottle, yet another puzzling detail surfaced. Before her death, Betsy showed no signs of serious illness or any major health concerns. Those close to her insisted that she was careful and would never take unfamiliar medication without good reason. So why was that pill bottle in her room? Had someone taken advantage of her trust to place something deadly in her hands? Gene Hackman, Betsy's husband, was found not far away, in a similar condition. This led investigators to suspect that this wasn't just an accidental overdose, but possibly a carefully orchestrated plot. If someone had truly wanted both of them dead, what was the motive? Had Gene and Betsy stumbled upon a secret so dangerous that they became targets for elimination? Adding to the mystery, 48 hours of security camera footage from the mansion had mysteriously disappeared. If this was indeed a murder, the culprit wasn't just meticulous in planning, but also had the resources to manipulate the security system. This raised an even bigger question. Who had the power to erase all traces without leaving a single clue? The case remains under investigation, and with each passing day, new theories emerge. Some believe it was nothing more than a tragic accident, while others are convinced it was a calculated assassination. What do you think? Was the pill bottle the true cause of death, or was it just an elaborate distraction? Leave a comment and join the discussion on this perplexing mystery.
Thank you very much.
The mystery of Gene Hackman and his wife's prolonged absence. A warning ignored? Silence can often signal something amiss, yet sometimes it gets overlooked in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. This seems to be the case in the strange disappearance of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. They went missing for 2 weeks, with no one hearing from them and no signs of life. Yet no one noticed the abnormality until it was too late. Neighbors, despite living close by in the luxurious Santa Fe estate, assumed Hackman and his wife were simply away. The couple was known to be reclusive, rarely engaging with the outside world, not attending local events, and seldom hosting guests. This made the first signs of tragedy fade into obscurity. But now, with their deaths uncovered, the biggest question remains. Why didn't anyone check on them sooner? It's worth noting that there were warnings that went ignored. A delivery driver had noticed packages piling up at the Hackman residence without anyone collecting them. A friend of Betsy's made several phone calls but received no response. Even the maintenance staff, who passed by the mansion, observed no signs of life but assumed the couple was on vacation. These pieces, if connected earlier, might have led to a timely welfare check, but regrettably, that did not happen. When the maintenance worker finally decided to enter the house, the scene before him changed everything. The front door stood wide open, unusual for a family known for their privacy. The air inside carried a strange odor, not quite that of decaying flesh, but something otherworldly, difficult to describe. As he ventured further in, he discovered that Hackman and Betsy had died, in mysterious positions, surrounded by details that made the case even more complicated. One suspicious point was that throughout the 2 weeks before their bodies were discovered, their landline rang repeatedly, but no one answered. Why would someone like Gene Hackman, accustomed to staying in touch with close friends, suddenly cut off all connections? Betsy Arakawa also showed no activity on her social media or email accounts. This not only raised doubts about their absence, but also about the true cause of this tragedy. Another detail added to the case's oddness: the home's security camera system. Initial investigations revealed that footage recorded during the 48 hours leading up to Hackman and Betsy's deaths had completely vanished. If this was a technical glitch, it's peculiar that it occurred at such a crucial time. And if someone deliberately deleted it, how did they manage to do so? There were no signs of forced entry, no evidence suggesting the system was tampered with from the outside. So, what truly happened during the 2 weeks of Hackman and his wife's disappearance? Were they being held against their will, unable to call for help? Or had they chosen to isolate themselves from the world for some mysterious reason? Most importantly, if people had paid attention to the warning signs earlier, could this tragedy have been averted? The case remains under investigation, but a slew of questions still awaits answers. What do you think about this strange absence? Is it merely a tragic accident, or is there a hidden conspiracy at play? Leave a comment and share your thoughts.
Results could be weeks away.
I think we just found one deceased person inside a house.
The couple's bodies were found Wednesday by maintenance workers, and after a frantic call to 911, county fire and sheriff's deputies descended on this Santa Fe residence.
Are they moving at all?
No, dude, they're not moving. Just send somebody out here really quick.
Much of the investigation is happening just up this road behind gates and a guard in an affluent neighborhood where homes are separated by acres of land. That's where Hackman and his wife chose to live, decidedly.
The terrifying mystery at the scene. The death of Gene Hackman is not simple. When the police arrived at Gene Hackman's luxurious mansion in Santa Fe, they had no idea they would be confronted with such a strange and inexplicable scene. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken windows, and no blood or signs of struggle. Everything inside the $3.3 million estate was neatly arranged, as if no violent events had ever occurred. But it was precisely this perfection that made investigators uneasy. A murder scene typically leaves behind traces. A burglary would show signs of rummaging. Yet here, everything was too perfect. A terrifying kind of perfection. Both Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, showed no obvious signs of trauma. There were no bullet wounds, no signs of strangulation, no stab wounds, or any typical injuries seen in murder cases. Under the examination room lights, forensic experts could not immediately determine the cause of death. This raised a big question. If they weren't attacked, how did they die? One detail that left investigators even more perplexed was the condition of the bodies. When discovered, both bodies showed signs of beginning natural mummification, a rare phenomenon that occurs only in particularly dry environments with little humidity. This meant they could have died several days earlier, but no one noticed. But how could a mansion with a modern climate control system create ideal conditions for the bodies to dry out so quickly? Experts quickly conducted environmental tests to determine if any factors could have caused death. One of the first hypotheses was carbon monoxide, CO poisoning, a common cause of mysterious deaths when victims do not realize they are inhaling toxic gas. However, testing devices found no signs of CO or any other hazardous gases in the mansion. This left the police even more baffled. If there were no toxins in the air, then what killed them? The pills strewn across the floor were one of the most crucial details. Toxicology reports indicated they were high-dose sedatives and sleeping pills. Yet, strangely, neither Hackman nor Betsy had a history of drug abuse or high-dosage use. Furthermore, if this was a suicide, why was there no suicide note? And why did both die at the same time without anyone attempting to call for help? The phone was right in the living room, but no calls were made on that fateful night. An absolute silence. The police also noted the security camera system surrounding the mansion. All surveillance data from the 48 hours before the bodies were discovered had been wiped clean. This could not be a mere coincidence. Someone had intentionally covered something up. But who could do this without leaving traces? And what was their purpose? Some experts began to hypothesize that this could be a poisoning using a sophisticated method, employing hard-to-detect chemicals. However, initial test results found no traces of cyanide, arsenic, or any other common poisons in the victim's blood. This raised an even more chilling question. If it wasn't a conventional poison, could they have come into contact with a substance never before known? Something beyond human understanding? Public opinion began to boil as details of the case were revealed. Some believed that Hackman and his wife had uncovered something secret, perhaps a vast conspiracy, something forbidden they should never have known. But if so, who was behind it? Who had enough power to make all evidence nearly disappear? Another theory leaned towards the supernatural, suggesting that Hackman had inadvertently brought back a cursed artifact, one that led them to their deaths in eerie silence. The mystery surrounding the deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife remains unsolved. Strange details keep piling up, but no piece truly fits together. This case could be one of the greatest mysteries Hollywood has ever witnessed. What really happened in that mansion? Do you have any theories? Leave a comment, and let's unravel this chilling case together. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. We're always working hard to bring you the most fascinating stories, shocking secrets, and hidden truths about Hollywood legends. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an exclusive update. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe what's happening? Do you think there are still more secrets waiting to be uncovered? We'd love to hear from you. Once again, thank you for being with us. See you in the next video.